The Burning of Washington by Dolley Madison, August 23, 1814. This is taken from a letter by First Lady Dolley Madison to her sister Anna, written the day before Washington, D.C. was burned by British forces during the War of 1812. The letter describes the abandonment of the White House and Mrs. Madison's famous actions saving Gilbert Stuart's priceless portrait of George Washington. As Mrs. Madison fled, she rendezvoused with her husband, and together, from a safe distance, they watched Washington burn. My husband left me yesterday morning to join General Winder. He inquired anxiously whether I had courage or firmness to remain in the President's house until his return on the morrow or succeeding day, and on my assurance that I had no fear but for him and the success of our army. He left, beseeching me to take care of myself and of the cabinet papers, public and private. I have since received 2 dispatches from him, written with a pencil. The last is alarming, because he desires I should be ready at a moment's warning to enter my carriage and leave the city, that the enemy seems stronger than had first been reported, and it might happen that they would reach the city with the intention of destroying it. I'm accordingly ready. I have pressed as many cabinet papers into trunks as to fill 1 carriage. Our private property must be sacrificed, as it is impossible to procure wagons for its transportation. I am determined not to go myself until I see Mr. Madison safe, so that he can accompany me, as I hear of much hostility towards him. Disaffection stalks around us. My friends and acquaintances are all gone, even Colonel C., with his 100, who were stationed as a guard in this enclosure. French John, a faithful servant, with his usual activity and resolution, offers to spike the cannon at the gate and lay a train of powder which would blow up the British should they enter the house. To the last proposition I positively object, without being able to make him understand why all advantages in war may not be taken. Wednesday morning, 12 o'clock. Since sunrise, I have been turning my spyglass in every direction and watching with unwearied anxiety, hoping to discover the approach of my dear husband and his friends. But alas, I can descry only groups of military wandering in all directions as if there was a lack of arms or of spirit to fight for their own fireside. 3 o'clock. Will you believe it, my sister? We've had a battle or skirmish near Bladensburg, and here I am still within sound of the cannon. Mr. Madison comes not. May God protect us! 2 messengers covered with dust come to bid me fly, but here I mean to wait for him. At this late hour a wagon has been procured, and I have had it filled with plate and the most valuable portable articles belonging to the house. Whether it will reach its destination, the Bank of Maryland, or fall into the hands of British soldiery, events must determine. Our kind friend, Mr. Carroll, has come to hasten my departure, and in a very bad humor with me, because I insist on waiting until the large picture of General Washington is secured, and it requires to be unscrewed from the wall. This process was found too tedious for these perilous moments. I have ordered the frame to be broken and the canvas taken out. It is done, and the precious portrait placed in the hands of 2 gentlemen of New York for safekeeping. And now, dear sister, I must leave this house, or the retreating army will make me a prisoner in it by filling up the road I am directed to take. When I shall again write to you, or where I shall be tomorrow, I cannot tell. Okay, and the questions you need to answer are, who's the author of this source? What things did the author save from the White House? Why do you think the president abandoned Washington, D.C. and the White House? Why would people criticize him for that? What do you think of the behavior of the author during this crisis? Explain your answer. Then we have a picture of George Washington, the one that was saved. It says, Lansdowne Portrait of George Washington by Gilbert Stuart. And then it says, the original painting was saved during the burning of Washington, D.C.